Hey everybody, welcome back to Prepper Junkie. Today I'm very excited to go over PSA AK-104 with you. So yeah, let's just dive right on in. Okay, what does it come with in the box? It comes with a 30 round PMag if your state allows it. And it comes with user manual, gun lock, and a PSA sticker. All right, let's dive on into the firearm. Now, I got this particular model because I wanted to get the folding brace here. Now, it does have a brace because the overall length of the barrel here is 12 inches. It's not a 16-inch barrel, so that's why we do have a brace on here, because it is not SBR'd. Okay, so folding brace, very cool. To simply to want to fold it, sometimes they come a little stiff out of the at the start, and as time goes on, they loosen up a little bit. Just push up and fold it over like so. So it makes it a little more compact, if you want to store it somewhere, or if you're going to the gun range or in a bag or something. So the nice thing with it folding to the left side here is the sheer fact it doesn't get in the way of the charging handle or the trigger. So you can actually use this firearm as is. You can shoot it like this, which is very, very cool. Okay, so I'll flip that back out. The brace is attached to a 1913 pick reel at the back here, and it just requires that one screw to be taken out to remove the brace if you want to switch it over or remove it for whatever reason. So very, very cool. Moving along, we have obviously the dust cover and the lower stamped receiver. All the rivets and everything looks great. All the fit and finish is awesome. Just like the rest of the AKs from PSA that I've reviewed, the fit and finish has been really, really good. Very happy to see it. We do have another extended safety lever right here. And so what's the extended part? Well, the extended part is right here has this tab. And so it's been put out a little bit more and it's texturized so that you can manipulate the fire and safe like so. Okay, on the other side here, we do have a side mount rail right here. So you'd basically attach a mount that goes on there, and it comes up and it sits just above your dust cover, where you have like a 1913 rail that you can attach an optic if you want to go that route. So yeah, it's nice to have that on there. Moving down, we have just a polymer grip right here. It's nothing fancy. Works obviously just great. It's kind of the classic AK look along with the furniture up here. Again, this is just polymer, but it has that kind of classic feel to it. Moving down, we'll go over the trigger in a little more detail in a second or two when we change the camera angle. So moving up, obviously we do have the paddle release right here. I love paddle releases. They just make sense, and they work great. So I'm a huge fan of paddle release mags. Okay, so the bolt, the bolt carrier and the front trunnion are all hammer forged parts, which is obviously great to hear. You want to make sure that those parts are very rugged and reliable, and PSA, all of their AK parts now are hammer forged. So very, very cool. Moving up, we do have the rear sight here, the classic AK sight. It goes out to 800 yards. Again, if you can hit 800 yards with iron sights, good on you. I definitely can't do that anymore. Getting older, my eyes just won't do it. Moving up, we have the gas tube. On the other side here, we have a sling attachment right here. It's not a QD sling, it's for like a clip. And then we have the barrel, which I did mention is a 12-inch barrel. It's a 4150 steel. This is your front post to go along with your front iron post to go along with your back iron right there. This is a mini crank brake, and if you're not familiar with AK brakes, they have this little dimple right in front of the front post, which you would just push down, and you would simply just turn and remove your brake or flash header or whatever you've got on here. And then once you take it off and you put whatever back on, you're going to screw it down. You're eventually going to hit that little dimple. You're going to push that back down, and you're going to turn the brake or flash hider as far as it can go, like so. And then once you've got it as far as you can go, just slowly rotate back until that little dimple goes into the groove on the brake. You'll hear it like so. And that would be whatever reinstalled or the new part put on. It does come with a cleaning rod right here. To access this, you would need to take the crank brake off and just take that out. So yeah, very, very cool. That's pretty much all of the outside features I've gone over with you. So what I'll do is I'll change the camera angle, we'll go over the trigger in some more detail, and show you the internals. Bear with me. That's much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the magazine for this. So what we'll do is we'll go over the trigger. Let's go over the trigger first. So let's go over the take-up, the brake, and the reset. Let's have a look here. Now this is a single stage trigger. So we've got a fair amount of take-up, as you can see, but it does feel light. And then you have the brake. The brake's very positive and tactile and audible. Let's do the reset. So we're going to have, obviously, you know, a fair amount of let out again, just because of the amount of take-up we had. Very positive, very tactile. So it's not a bad trigger, all things considered. I mean, the actual brake and reset feel nice. It's just the take up and the let out kind of let the trigger down. Okay, so let's do the pull weight. We're going to use a Wheeler trigger scale here. Let's see what we get. Now, as I say, it is a single stage and it does feel pretty light. That is just a shy over 3 pounds. Oops. Let's do that again. We're at about 3 pounds again. I'll just do one more time for the fun of it. That one came in at 2 pounds, 7 ounces. You know, I've done a lot of trigger pulls with this already, and the average is about 3 pounds. As I said, it is a light trigger. So yeah, so the trigger's not bad. You know, I do recommend with all the previous AKs I've had is upgrading to the ALG AK trigger. It's just a much nicer trigger. They're not very expensive. They're pretty easy to install and it's a nice upgrade, but this trigger would work just fine. You don't have to change it. Okay, if you're new to AKs, this is how you take an AK down. This is obviously your dust cover and you have your little button at the back here. You're gonna push this in so it just goes inside the dust cover, and then you're just gonna gently lift up the dust cover and take it off. This is your guide rod and spring. So what you're going to do is you're going to push forward until that comes out. So there's 2 little tabs, one inside, one on that side, that slot into these lips right here. And that's what holds it in place. That's your guide rod and spring. If your hammer is forward, bring it down like so. And I have been shooting, so it's a little dirty. And then what you're going to do from there is you're going to pull back your bolt. And you're going to slide that out. Like so. I'll put that there. From there, so that's the internals right there. And then to take off your gas tube, there's a little lever right here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lift this up, and you'll see the piece disappears, but then a piece comes out at the top right here. So you're gonna make sure that piece at the top is level, like so. And then you should be able to just gently lift out your gas tube, like so. And that is how you disassemble. Very, very easy. No tools required. Very simple to do. To put it back together, we're just going to go in reverse. You're going to take your gas tube first. Again, you're going to make sure that we are lined up here. You're going to put the front piece in first, like so. And that should just slot right in. And you're going to push that little tab back down to lock it in place. From there, you're going to take the bolt and we're going to slide that in. And then you're going to, at the back here, there's another kind of like tab on each side. It fits into these grooves on the receiver. Make sure they're lined up, push down, and then you're just going to simply push your bolt forward. You take your guide rod and spring, and you're going to put that in there. And this is where the lips are going to come into play, because you're going to push this forward again until those lips go under, and it sits in place like so. Then you're going to take your dust cover, and you're going to put it on and make sure the button is in the hole at the back here, like so. And then at the front here is like a little half moon cutout, which you're going to push this up and push that dust cover in to that half moon shape. Like so, if I can, it's a little harder to do on camera. Okay, so we got that in the little half moon, and then so we're just going to push it a little bit down, and then the button pops back out like so. And we've reassembled the AK. Cool, all right, let's change the camera angle one more time. All right, let's come to shooting this. How was it? It was great. I had no problems. I'm shooting just some Red Army steel cased ammo through it. I had no problems whatsoever, as you've seen in the video. It shot just great. Very enjoyable. I really like the size of this with the shorter barrel. Personally, as I said, if you've watched my videos, you know I'm not the biggest fella in the world, and so I typically like pistol versions of guns just because they're a little smaller. I feel like they're a little more compact for me to get a hold of. So I really enjoyed shooting this a lot. Very, very cool. Zero issues. And if you do have any issues with this firearm, PSA does have a lifetime warranty on them. So if you have any issues, just hit them up. They'll take care of you. Let's talk about price point. These are coming in at, this one came in at just under $1,100. With the folding brace, there is a couple of different versions on there that you can check them out. I'll put a link in the description for this model and then all of the models so you can check them out. But yeah, I have now shot and reviewed every AK model, not variation. So I've shot like the GF3, GF4, GF5, AK-104, 103, 104, AKP, AKV. I've shot them all, I've reviewed them all. They're great. They've all been great for me. I've had zero issues with them. The fit and finish has always been great. And they've shot everything I've fed it. I just can't see anything more positive about them. Their AK line from PSA they're doing a really good job. That is pretty much it, folks. If you have any questions, any comments, please ask me below. I'm always happy to help out wherever I can. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, please do so. It does not cost you a dime, but it really helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. That's it. Until next time, I'll catch you later.